bobbing on. We're bobbing on, bobbing on. We're bobbing on, bobbing on. We're bobbing on. We're bobbing on, bobbing on. We're bobbing on and on. We're bobbing on. We're bobbing on, bobbing on. Bobbing on.
week that sees another serious injury to Speedway. Danny Phillips, we're sending our best wishes to him. Ty Waff doesn't do all of that in the Speedway GP. And James Shane says, I don't want to ride in too many leagues, thank you very much. Only in Speedway. Speedway Tavern. In the tavern tonight we have Mr. Chris Genius Brown.
Good evening.
We have Mr. Matt, I like the Wolves, Buck.
Good evening.
They'll clean that up. And myself, Michael G.A. Harris. Good evening, everybody.
With the high vis.
Yes, the high vis. Did we all enjoy that yesterday?
I thought you'd become a Cradley fan.
Yeah, that's going to happen when hell freezes over. So, okay, we've got a few things on the show tonight. If Webby's managed to do his magic, we'll have an interview with...
Okay, just don't talk to me for 5 minutes, okay?
I think I can manage that.
Okay,
so,
excellent.
We'll have an interview with Liam Carr. We've got Mr. Russ Payne from one of the Speedway schools coming on to talk about that and how maybe you could get involved. Matt's going to be talking about all things Wolves with a big smile on his face at the moment because top of the league.
Going well.
Top of the league, well, we wouldn't have picked that 2 weeks ago.
No, absolutely wouldn't.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to run our eye over some of the Wolves matches, some of the Brummies matches against Stoke and against Kings Lynn, and maybe look ahead to what's coming. We have also got some matches that we are watching, and as soon as we'll get some results for that to you soon, but it's Ipswich versus Scunthorpe, thank you very much. It's Sheffield versus
Redcar.
He's good, you know. And it's the Isle of Wight
good or sad.
Yeah. And it's the Isle of Wight versus
Lakeside.
And of course the Isle of Wight's got special interest to Brummie fans because Mr. Liam Carr's guesting there today. So I think before we go any further, I think we should just go back to the Danny Phillips thing and it just, I love this sport, but some of the things that happen to some of our heroes I don't like. So all we can say really is get well soon, mate.
That's right. It sounded like it was a pretty
nasty
horrific one as well.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously he's some severe injuries which he's still being looked at the moment. So, but,
we've had a few this year, haven't we? Thomas Golub.
That's right. Yep.
And Daniel Hume was, by all accounts, lucky to escape with three bones broken in his arm. So this is a dangerous sport. It really is. I always go back to something that Carl Legault once said to me. He says, in this sport you have to get good before you get fast because it's dangerous.
That's right.
But there you go. Right, well, what's been happening in the Wolves neck of the woods, Matt?
Well, really so far so good, really, since the changes were made. A couple of convincing wins over Somerset. Obviously went to Somerset on Friday for the first visit there in the league, with a team of guests, unfortunately. 3 riders missing, which is always a sort of puts a down on it.
Something we might talk about later, because...
Yeah, but still managed to get a pretty... hard-fought win, but it was a fairly comfortable one in the end. And with the return meeting on Monday, and pretty dominant result there, 62-28 scoreline. And
which, I mean, you have to take that with the knowledge that Somerset went to Bellevue and beat Bellevue, of course. So I'm a bit confused about Somerset.
I just wonder whether some of the Somerset riders probably better suited to riding at a track like Bellevue compared to Wolves. I mean, there were some little flashes from Somerset on Monday. Paul Stark had 2 very, very good heat wins where he looked really, really quick when he made the start.
He's looked quite good this year, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. Although he did have a couple of poor rides as well. He struggled a bit on. In the meeting down there on Friday. So, But really, other than that, Rowan Tungate was disappointing for Somerset. A track that he's done okay on in the past. But really, I mean, since the change, I mean, I'm struggling to think really of two changes that have transformed the team as much as what they're bringing in Rory Schlein and Mark Riss have done with the Wolves team.
How has Mark Riss been doing? Sort of scores?
He looks quick. He looks quick, and he's got some good track craft. I think he just needs to really get to grips with the track. His gating isn't brilliant. That'll obviously improve in time. He's a bit older than his brother Eric, although I think Eric is at the moment a better rider purely because he's had a little bit more experience of riding the tracks in the UK compared to what Mark has. But I think given time, I think he will be a very good rider. He's obviously been getting some good scores for Edinburgh in the Championship as well. So
and we all know Rory Schlein is a cracking rider. So
really pleased for Rory as well because I mean I saw him at the end of last season and you thought he was a rider that was probably not going to carry on much longer. He was really struggling. He'd had
a bit like Davey Watt.
Yeah, he'd had some pretty severe injuries and he really, especially when Kingsland came to Wolves towards the end of last season, and he really struggled. But I think moving to Ipswich has rejuvenated him in the Championship, and you certainly can't argue with his performances for Wolves in recent weeks. So it's going well at the moment.
Question for you, because I haven't really managed to see an awful lot of top tier racing this year, which is something I'm hoping to put right pretty soon. One of the things that they've tried to do with the new format and the averages is make the two leagues, the Premiership and the Championship, I've got it right, it's the first time this year, to make them closer. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's happened?
Possibly with the lower teams. I think I still think the powerhouse teams like Wolves and Poole would have too much for a Championship team. Mm-hmm. With rising with a full strength team.
But that's what you try to do, isn't it? Get the lower teams of the one division on a par with the.
Yeah, they're going to have to do that if they want this promotion and relegation to work. I mean, the fact that they're having playoffs for the promotion and relegation, and they're going to be on TV,
right,
shows that they are taking it seriously.
I didn't realise I was going to be on.
They're going to be on they're going to be on the television as well.
That's
so
interesting.
I mean,
so they need them. They need it not to be a total whitewash, then, don't they? Really? That's
right. Yeah, I mean, I think Somerset. If you look at the Somerset side, it's a pretty weak side, but it's not. I think it would be very much competitive against a side in the Championship. So
the thing that I don't know whether the right word is worries me about that is you've got so many riders riding in both leagues. The chances are fairly high that you're going to have a situation with a promotion relegation that you're going to have one rider or maybe even two riders riding for both teams. How are they going to? What are they going to do about that?
Well, I tend to think what they would do about it is if one of the clubs has that rider as an asset, they'd get priority. That's the only way I can think of them getting around that. But of course, that leaves the problem of the other team having to get a guest. I mean, the doubling up rule, has been around for, I think, 2002. It was brought in, it's just been allowed to get totally out of control, to be honest. And I think a lot of the promoters do want to get rid of it, but it's not something that they can get rid of just like that. It's got to have to be gradually phased out because there's simply not enough riders to go around.
Yeah, and also a lot of riders depend on.
Well, that's right. Which you can understand because they want more meetings to do, and they want to get as many as they can to bring in extra revenue for themselves.
It's almost the definition of a rod for their own back, isn't it? That they've done there. But anyway, okay. So did you get to watch the Brummies match last night?
I did. Yep.
Wasn't the most entertaining meeting in the world, was it?
Not really. No, it was never going to be one of those. I don't think, was it? So. But
obviously, the most important thing from Brummie point of view, the most interesting thing, if you like, was Liam Carr having his very first meeting. The boy did good.
He looked quick, didn't he?
He looked very, very quick.
He was really motoring. So
there was one heat, I can't remember which one it was now, where he didn't actually make the gate, but he was in front by the first corner. That was impressive. That was very impressive. But yeah, he did. He looked very quick, and he was getting out in that dirt line and looked good. We've got a good rider there.
There's going to be harder challenges for him, admittedly, but
of course, yes.
But no, I mean it was a good win for the Brummies. It was actually probably closer than I thought it would be. I mean, Kings had obviously kept it close.
They kept it close at the beginning, didn't they?
He was going to obviously taking the lead, obviously after the first stage.
Yeah, yeah. You can't imagine that Tom Bacon would have come last in that heat if he'd made a proper start.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've no idea. He wasn't happy about that. I've heard stories that he saw a red light. I didn't see one, but that doesn't, but could it have been a car?
Possibly could have been a car. That seems to be something that does happen sometimes.
He did catch the tape with the peak of his helmet, which obviously probably should have been called back. His feeling, I think. But he chalked it down to experience. But he was unbeaten after that. That's what people, So
he's had a good start to the season, I think. Tom Bacon, isn't he? So
not bad. Not as good a start as a certain Mr. JPB there.
He's looking the part at the moment, isn't he? So
he does look spectacular.
Daryl Richings, I think, has rode well last night as well. I think
Daryl Richings is another one that's done really well this year, and I think I'm right in saying. I know I'm right in saying because I'm always right. Yeah. That I said at the beginning of the season that our season was going to hinge on how well he did. Daryl Richards. I've got no complaints at the moment. He's looking very quick out the gate as well. So, I actually am quite enthused. So I went to Stoke on Saturday.
Yep.
We threw that one away. We should have won that. We had that. There were several. And I'm not criticising anybody because these young lads and it's
I mean it was nip and tuck all the way through, wasn't it?
It was
really very few, not much points between either sides all the way through it. But
Stoke had a good start, but we pinned it back and then we got in front. And there was a couple of incidents. I mean, Lane Cupid came off when he was in third place, I think, when we was on a 4-2. And he came off because he laid his bike down because the guy in front of him lost control and he thought he was going to come off.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that's not Lane Cupid's fault, but he got excluded. Wasn't surprised because we've seen that time and time again.
Yeah.
So that would have given us a draw because they got a 3-3.
What sort of crowd was it? Because
it was okay for an.
From what I've heard, Stoke's crowds have gone up this season.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I would say it's 50-50s for Brummies and Stoke, whereas before we've outnumbered them.
Well, it's not a long trip, is it? So
no, it's not. Really. It's not. But they don't seem to send any down to ours.
Yeah.
Ever. That's the first time they beat us in the National League, I believe.
I think
home or away. So
how long is it since the last league defeat for the Brummies?
I did know this before I came on. I can't remember.
I thought I'd throw that one in there. So.
Last league defeat. That's probably it. Was at Eastbourne last year, wasn't it? Probably. That's the last time that we had.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a long old time. It didn't sit very well. The Stoke fans were very happy.
I can imagine, yeah. So.
But we come away with a point, so I'd have probably settled for that before the match. So a lot has been written about. Yes.
Interjection. Sorry, I've just caught up with a few.
What that means?
No, I got a clue.
All right.
Ian Fowler says Richings has been gating like a demon.
If I knew how a demon gated,
he has
been. So actually, what I think we will do now before we carry on, is I've just looked at the time. And we've got an interview to come up with one of the Speedway schools whose name escapes me at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll play some music while we get in touch with them. And
maybe if you just answer two more questions.
Of course.
I need very quick ones. Mark wants to know, can you ever foresee the Brummies back at a higher level? Do we want the Brummies back at a higher level?
I'll answer the first question. Okay. Second question first, I beg your pardon. This is a personal view, of course, so so the only way I can answer it. I want to be at a high level. I would love to get to championship level. Eventually, I'd like to get it to the top level, but not at the moment.
I think life in the National League has got a shelf life, hasn't it, really? And I get the impression that a few fans are feeling that now.
Yeah,
with the
I think so. Will I see it? Well, we can't possibly know that, can we? Because we don't even know whether the club's necessarily going to be running next year.
No.
Because we're still waiting.
I don't think you'll know anything about that until maybe towards the end of the year. So,
although there doesn't seem to be any sort of panic on anybody's, everybody seems quite relaxed about it. So, hopefully things are moving. But yeah, you can't answer that. That would depend on who takes over, if anybody takes over. So watch this space on that one. But yeah, I certainly would like to go up to a higher division.
Another question, I'm presuming this is what you were talking about before that I wasn't listening to, from Derek Turner. It is his first time at National League level. You might have to go back a bit.
I'm not sure.
See, that's the quiz of the day, that is, isn't it?
Okay,
like the quiz of the day.
Who posted that?
That's Derek Turner.
Okay, Derek, perhaps you could elucidate a little bit.
Hallucinate?
I can hallucinate. I used to hallucinate quite a lot when I was younger.
Yeah, I hallucinate every time I look at you. Anyway.
Cheers, thanks.
That's okay. Yeah. While you get some music ready.
Okay, yeah, I'm all ready. Get some music and...
yeah, well, you can tell us when you're ready, but I'll have a little talk about Kyle Roberts. I was impressed with Kyle Roberts last night. Every time he goes on the track, he just seems to get faster.
Yeah.
That's impressive, and he's going to be picking starts.
Still got a lot to learn, obviously.
Of course he has, but he's learning very quickly, and it's good to see all the guys coming out, and including Liam Carr came out at the end and was giving him some tips on starting.
He does look again as if the Brummies have got a very, very good team spirit, which I think will stand him in good stead for the. I mean, it's not. We all know it's not as strong as last season, Steve. It never was going to be.
Never was going to.
But it's still.
That was a special team.
You certainly wouldn't rule the Brummies out of a push for another title. So
it was interesting to see. As an aside, talking about team spirit, Jack Smith was in the pits with the Brummies on Saturday at Stoke. I believe he comes from that part of the world, doesn't he? But, but that was, his heart still with Birmingham.
Don't let the Bellevue fans eat it.
That doesn't mean to say heart isn't with Bellevue as well. There you go. Right, are we ready for some music?
Yeah,
okay, and then when we come back, we'll have hopefully an interesting interview for you guys.
RBRadio.com.
Just circles in a line. Can you feel it's time for a little peace and love and understanding? Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love and understanding. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love and understanding. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love and understanding. Peace and love, peace and love. We've been stressed out through the pill. We done rehab, tried to chill. We did stitches, we did pain, hoping we'd see you again. Lost our heroes in a row. 2016, let it go. We did Royals, poker face. The 7 nations took our place. Circles in a line. Can you see it's time? Just circles in a line. Can you feel it's time? Little peace and love and understanding. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love and understanding. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love and understanding. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love and understanding. Peace and love, peace and love.
Okay, so in the studio on the phone now we have Russ Payne. Are you with us, Russ?
I am indeed. Good evening.
Fantastic. Can you turn that up a little bit?
Yeah, hang on. There you go. Should be okay now.
Okay, are you there, Russ?
I am indeed.
That's fantastic, brilliant. So, so Russ runs one of our Speedway schools. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about it, Russ.
Yeah, it's the only mobile Speedway experience day company. A lot of the places that do the sort of thing where you can pay your money, you can come along and ride a Speedway bike, are based at one track, the Buxton, the Isle of Wight, the Scunthorpe. But we do there's a lot of people out there that go to watch Speedway at their home track and want to actually ride that track. So we're coming off the back of having a haulage company, so we've got access to a lorry and obviously bikes and stuff. We took the decision to take it mobile, and we take it all around the country from Glasgow to Plymouth.
And what tracks do you actually set up at?
We do Leicester, Rye House and Kings Lynn in the Premiership, Glasgow and Peterborough in the Championship, and Plymouth and Mildenhall in the National League.
So it's a fairly good spread around the country then. So if anybody wants to have a go, they should be able to find an event closest to them.
Yeah, we do try to sort of to go to all four corners. Unfortunately, there's no tracks in Wales anymore, so that becomes difficult. But we're sort of closing in on getting a day at Swindon. And also at Bellevue. We're speaking to the guys there, and we're hoping to get a day at Bellevue. It's the National Stadium after all, so that would be perfect.
And what sort of people are you sort of targeting?
Just general fans, really. We've had everyone from literally, we take from 12 years up, so there's no need to have a bike licence or any experience. A lot of people that come to our days have never sat on a motorbike in their life, so the first bike they're ever going to ride is one with no brakes. So that's a bit of a feather in the cap. And then we had a guy with us on Sunday at Rye House who was 81.
Where?
So it is literally, we've had fathers and daughters, we've had husband and wives, brothers, fathers and sons, you name it. They've come along.
And so, talk us through a day. What if I was rocked up there as a 58-year-old? I thought that was going to sound old, but now you said 81.
No,
not
at all.
Spring chicken. What could I expect? What are you going to teach me? What's going to happen?
Basically, we obviously get you kitted up. We take a load of photos, so you've got mementos and stuff like that, all kitted up. We run three sizes of bike. We run 125s, 350s and 500s, purely because if you've never sat on any motorbike in your life before, a 5-speed 125 is a perfect way to start. We have guys that have come to us, bit of bike experience, but not Speedway, so a 350 is ideal because they're not quite as sharp as the 500s. Then obviously we've had people that maybe used to ride Speedway before. We had Luke Clifton from Kent come and do a day with us, so obviously he could bang straight on a 500. So we get you kitted up. We go through all the brief rather, with all your instructions with the flags, how the flags work, and what we'll be doing on track. We talk you through the bike. And then we get you out on track, so you have your first ride, get the feel of the track, get the feel of the bike, and then once everyone's had their first ride, we get you right down one end, and we do a demonstration, just over 6 laps, showing how the whole thing comes together, from basically what you've just done, having a first ever ride, to how lap 6 we ride and we race normally, and then we crack back on another couple of rides, then about 2/3 the way through, we do another demonstration showing you how to do a Speedway start, and then from then on your rides will kick off with a Speedway start, and then the last ride of the day we've got a bungee that they use for when the tapes fail at tracks and stuff like that, where 2 or 3 go off the start together, so it then completes the whole Speedway experience. So in the time we've had on track, you've experienced pretty much everything that a Speedway rider will experience.
That sounds really. My mouth's watering. I think I might have to try and persuade some people.
Told you the doctors about that.
To part with some money. Of course, that's the important thing, isn't it? I mean, how much is it going to cost people?
Our days are £225, but it's fully inclusive. Literally, all we need is you. We supply you with all the kit, head to toe, all the bikes, everything. We have full medical cover. We're insured with the insurance company that insures the Speedway leagues. And you're with us for around 7 hours on the day.
7 hours.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like one of these car drives where you turn up, you do your 15 minutes, and you go home again.
That sounds really. I'm trying to sell it here for you, but it sounds really impressive, actually. I'm just writing a list of people who might have £200 and like me.
Not very long list.
Yes, no, there's two people on it, and one of them's me. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, you mentioned that there was an 81-year-old, and you've had husbands and wives. I'm guessing this would be sort of a good experience as a Christmas present or a birthday present.
Yeah, we've sold over 250 gift vouchers. And to be fair, the one thing that people do appreciate is that we don't put an expiry date on a gift voucher. I've always thought that if you've coughed up your hard-earned money for a gift voucher for someone, life often has a way of getting in the way of you sort of seeing it through. Mm-hmm. So rather than saying it expires at such and such a day, we had a guy a couple of weeks ago that got a voucher in 2014, but he suffered with some illnesses and stuff like that, but he's got himself all sorted now, and he joined us 3 years after he got his gift voucher.
Right, that's really impressive. Obviously, an important thing, I mean, we all know Speedway is a dangerous sport. I mean, we've just been talking about poor Danny Phillips.
Yeah.
So if I sort of come off and I hurt myself, what sort of facilities have you got to cater for that?
We always, all of our events, we have 2 ambulance technicians with an ambulance. The tracks have all got medical rooms now. So we're pretty much as if it was a Speedway meeting, basically. We've got the same medical cover as you would have at a proper meeting. Right.
And I'm going to mention the dreaded 2 words now, which is rain off. What happens? I mean, obviously, if it's raining, you can't. So what happens?
To be completely honest, if it rains, we have a lot more fun. Okay. because there's no way we run an amateur racing club as well, but you wouldn't race necessarily in the rain. But on a normal day of 20 people, we only take a maximum of 20 people. On a normal day, you'll probably get 4, 5, maybe 6 sliding the bike. On a wet day, it is so much easier because you don't have to go so fast. We'll have probably 10, 12, 13 people actually getting a slide on because the wet is doing the work for you.
Right.
So, and to be fair, everyone likes getting a bit muddy as well. So, unless it's ridiculously 2 inches deep in water, then we kick on and ride through it.
Okay. Okay. You got any questions? No? Okay. So the only reason I said that is because I had a question in my head and it's just totally disappeared.
That was just
yeah. So how? Right. So a very important question. Obviously, how do we get in touch with you? How do we book? Where can we find out more about it?
The website is www.speedwayrideandslidedays.com. All you have to do is put ride and slide in a Google search and we'll come up. And then there's a page on there with the headed track days. That's got the list of all the dates. I mean, unfortunately, our next 7 events are all sold out. So we're now taking bookings for October.
Right. I don't think that's unfortunate. I think that's good from your, point of view. Yeah.
And then just use the email address to send us an email, and then all we ask for is a £55 deposit. That secures the place because obviously people are booking for later in the year, and then the balance falls due 2 weeks before. So it's not a case of you book now and you've got all your money tied up till October. Just a deposit secures the place, and then we'll sort of see you when you're due to come and join us.
Right. Well, I have to warn you. You might find me coming soon because you have really wet my appetite. So yeah,
brilliant. It's just amazing that when we normally have a team of about 15 people that run the day with us, and in that team there's 6 or 7 that were ex-customers that had such a good time with us that they stupidly said, if you ever need a hand, give me a shout.
Right.
And they now pretty much form the big part of the hardcore of the team that run the days on the day.
Right.
Because to give that experience to different people, when you can ride at any certain level, and you can give that feeling to someone else, it is the most amazing feeling in the world.
Fantastic. And who do you have actually teaching? How to Speedway?
I sort of do most of the instructing. I do the demos and stuff like that. We've got other ex-riders. Alan Mogridge has joined us like pretty much this year.
Right.
He came on board at the beginning of this year, and we've got other guys that rode at various levels. No one really of any sort of Team GB level or anything like that. But I do feel that the guys at that level almost tend to forget what it was like starting from scratch because it was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you do have to go right back to basics when you're putting people on a speedway bike for the very, very first time.
Okay, well, Russ, thank you very, very much. As I say, I don't know anybody else, but it's really whetted my appetite.
Fantastic.
And maybe we can...
you won't spend an afternoon, didn't you, or a day? So.
Yeah. I mean, maybe when I come down, maybe we could do a little few videos and stuff to put on the show and advertise it. That might be something.
Yeah. That'd be brilliant. That'd be brilliant. It'd be good to have you with us.
Okay, well, we'll watch this space.
Fantastic. Okay. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, you take care. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
See you soon, mate. Bye-bye.
All the best. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
you very much. Okay, right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what did we think?
Do some videos.
Yeah.
Very good.
We can send them to you. Send them to your big frames.
I want to see Chris on a bike.
I'm guessing they do have stabilisers.
Yeah, I think we might need a trike for you. Speedway trike, that would be interesting. Right, so where was we, before... Actually, be interested before we go on, would anybody else out there that's listening and taking part, is that something that they might be interested in doing? Interested to hear your views on that one. So
have we look at how our meetings are going on?
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. We've got some meetings that we're following, and Chris is going to put those up for us.
No.
Any second now.
And just to prove we do have some intelligent people watching, Jackie Mason has said that he's got the background rider, a Crady Great in the background, Juicy Brucey, which we talked about last week.
Yes, and I told you to change that.
I know, yeah. I thought about it and I thought, nah, can't be asked.
It's not good, is it?
That's not good, no.
No, not good at all. Next thing you know, it'll be Sam and Malenka. We can't have that.
At least it'd be in colour. So.
Yeah, so we was talking about certain Mr. Carl Roberts. Your thoughts? I thought he's got a really nice, tidy style, hasn't he?
Well, I mean, he impressed me in the previous meeting, to be honest. And he, obviously had a couple of falls, but that's natural at sort of position. That sort of age with his lack of experience, but certainly got potential about him. I think he looks very well turned out. Smart leathers, good, decent machinery. Well, as well. So
and he was in a couple of positions yesterday where he would never have experienced that before. You wouldn't think. And
he certainly had the beating of Ryan Kingsley, didn't he?
Yeah. So
he's a much more experienced rider. So
I'm quite positive about that. I also thought Macaulay Leak in his last race.
Yeah,
it's like it felt like he'd found something.
That's right.
He'd worked something out, and he was coming into the corners with a lot more confidence. So I don't know whether somebody's had a word with him or something, but it just looked different. So I don't think they're the worst reserves in the league. Let's put it that way. So there we go. So we're going to have a look at the Speedway.
Just before we get to Speedway, earlier on we were going to have this interview that we decided we'd do via video.
Okay.
And we passed it to your phone, to my phone, to Bluetooth, to Dropbox to mine, install Dropbox, to backs. Well, unfortunately the video came out upside down.
Oh.
Right, so what I've done now is I've converted it to MP3, so we can play it. So we can play the actual video. So if we want to do the audio now, while I get the updates up.
Yep. Okay. That sounds original. So this is an interview that Ryan
I don't know what it's going to sound like.
Well, we'll find out. This is an interview that Ryan Guest had straight after the match with Liam Carr last night.
Everyone's made me feel so welcome already, and it's just the first night, so it's nice to repay all with hopefully a little bit of dim.
Obviously things have been tough in the main body of the team with Berwick in the championship, and you said coming to Birmingham you were hopefully going to develop your confidence. Certainly going to be feeling a lot more confident after tonight.
I mean, it was strange, like I turned up tonight and went out and eat for the expectation of going straight away, so I spoke with Thomas today, and really the only thing I would have been happy leaving the night with was the maximum, and that's what we came against.
And you'll be looking for more of the same, obviously a trip to Plymouth, but back here against one of your other former clubs, Buxton, next Wednesday, and hopefully the same again.
Definitely. I mean, we'll go to Plymouth on Friday, the boys will be back here, and I'm sure they'll be able to maximize for the least.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Liam Carr, tonight's Electrics Limited ride with the night as well.
Liam, I don't know whether you caught hold of the interview last night, but he said that when he'd rocked up yesterday, he was going to consider anything other than a full maximum to be a failure.
Yeah.
So
that's good attitude to have, I guess.
I'm glad he was head and shoulders above everybody else, and it's going to be interesting to see him at Perry Bar up against the likes of Steve Bloxall and Mitchell Davey,
or even Steve Boxall. So.
And him as well. Well,
although to be fair, he's already been, hasn't he? So he'll be with Plymouth. They're in the cup as well, and the cup as well, obviously.
Yeah,
so
we're not then. Oh, the Knockout Cup, yes. Sorry,
right,
we are the Knockout Cup. So Ipswich versus Scunthorpe at the moment. The score is Ipswich 28. Sorry, Ipswich 28 and Scunthorpe 14. So I still think we keep sort of saying that Ipswich are going to win, and then they don't really sort of do anything. But
they are looking good this time around, aren't they? So, well, that's a solid team all the way through, really.
You've got King, Heap, Sedgman, Newman,
Rory Schlein,
Connor Mountain, Nathan Greaves.
Nathan Greaves has looked a lot more impressive for Wolves in recent weeks as well. So
actually, we ought to
particularly at home. So.
We ought to mention about Nathan Greaves. I mean, with what's happened with Nathan Greaves, the reason that Liam Carr's racing tonight as guesting for the Isle of Wight is because Ipswich signed Nathan Greaves. And now they've got him, and Isle of Wight can't because they race the same day. That doesn't feel right, does it?
No, it is. It is a mess, isn't it?
They signed them first. Surely they should. It's one of the reasons why I want to get out of this league.
Yeah.
There's just no.
Besides that, he's got a poor sense of geography, and he's mastered the art to be two places at once.
Sheffield versus Redcar. The scores are 26-22 to Sheffield. That's
closer than close.
Jack Parkinson Blackburn's not done too bad.
Carl Harris,
he's only
second
scored 3 points, but he won his first race. He's had a 0 and a 4.
Tom Bacon, of course, guesting for Redcar as well. So
we need to know whether we need to go down a minute and see. We make sure that Jack Parkinson Blackburn's actually okay, since he's had a little 4. You've gone too far now. Atler, I think he's okay, doesn't say anything. No. So, okay, and obviously the most important meeting from a Brummie perspective tonight is how is Liam Carr doing at the Isle of Wight. And he's working well, isn't he? He's working really hard here.
Tell you what.
Yeah.
You're talking about Webby, all right.
What I'm doing. It might take a bit too loud because it's at the moment it's working via Steam. Right, okay, so
the Isle of Wight versus Lakeside, the score is currently 49 to the Isle of Wight, 41 to Lakeside.
That's finished, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's a win for the Isle of Wight. Liam Carr, 14 points.
Who beat him?
In the would have been in the third heat, would it? Don't know.
Zach Whitener.
Whitener. Yeah, well, Zach's doing really well. Zach's got 14 points as well, tailed off towards the end. We've got a good one there, I think. Zach's been doing really well this year, actually, hasn't he?
It'd be interesting to see how he gets on when he comes back with when he likes to turn them at Ferry Bar. So.
14 points again, says Dougie Hunter. Or is it Dougie?
Well, I think he got 15 last night. No, 17.
Yeah,
17
yeah.
Well, that's, as I say, it looks like we've got a good one. So what's happening with Wolves coming up? What matches have they?
We'll go to Leicester on Monday. It was scheduled to be next Saturday, but due to lack of availability of orders, it's now been moved to Monday night. So it's going to be. I suppose, in a sense, Leicester are looking at other race nights as well, because obviously they're still having problems with riders turning up on a Saturday and clubs turning up on a Saturday with not a full team. So yeah, but at the moment, it's difficult to look beyond Wolves getting wins. Really, it's everything's just going so well at the moment.
I mean, Leicester are a much better side than they have been in previous seasons. But it is a must-win, isn't it, for Wolves if you want to keep? If you want
to be going for the title, then you need to be going to places like Leicester, and winning. You need to be going to places like Somerset and winning as well. Yeah, so pretty optimistic for Monday. Okay. Haven't decided whether I'm going to go yet, obviously, because it's a Monday night. Obviously, we work the next day as well. So, but we'll see how that pans out.
And a match that I'm not going to be going to tomorrow because it's at Plymouth, and I would love to go, but it's at Plymouth.
Yeah,
it's on a Friday. I'm not going to get down there in time. It's just,
that's a good old haul, isn't it?
It is a good old haul.
Yeah, it absolutely is. If we want to be, it's a match we need to win as well, isn't it? Because Eastbourne have been there, they've beaten them. Cradley have been there.
I don't know what to make of Plymouth, to be honest, as a team.
Well, obviously
they've got a good number one.
They've got the standout rider, probably,
in Steve Boxall.
That's going to be interesting to see how Liam Carr. I don't know what he's like on little tracks.
Yeah.
But it seems to be a fair track.
Yeah, I think the big concern with Plymouth really is that the crowds again haven't been good. They didn't have a very good crowd against Cradley the other week.
Oh, they need to start winning, don't they?
Yeah.
So, they've not had a great start to the season. Eastbourne, followed by Cradley, followed by Birmingham.
Yeah,
that's
the three big hitters. So.
Yeah, that's tough, isn't it?
How are our local crowds faring up, would you say?
Well, we was talking about that earlier, wasn't we? I thought last night was quite. Let's put it this way: it wasn't the best crowd I've seen. It was, it's difficult to judge sometimes because you can't see how many are inside.
Yeah,
but they were noisy enough. But not okay. It was against Kings Lynn. It was
not the strongest team.
Not the strongest team. You felt. I thought it was going to get 60 points, to be honest, but it didn't happen because they start, Kings Lynn. They're not the strongest team to start with, and then the thing with Danny Phillips has kind of hit them.
That's right.
So I did feel that, but
what about the Wolves crowds?
I actually think they've been down this season.
Really?
I think they've dropped a bit this season.
Because a lot of teams have been reporting
good crowds. Yeah, there's been some. Bellevue have had good crowds.
Mm.
I'm not sure about Leicester. Somerset have had decent crowds, even though they're struggling. And it's interesting. A lot of Somerset fans saying that the racing they've seen this season was better than it was when they were in the Premier League. So, there's been positives. There's been positives from a lot of clubs with good crowds, but I think the Wolves crowds have dropped. Not massively, not significantly, but there's more noticeable gaps on the terraces.
There hasn't been a rain off at all.
But you did have not the best start to the season. People weren't. I mean, Yana, yourself, you wasn't the original side. You was a bit not sure.
Yeah.
Bromley's had a rain off in the worst drought in 15 years.
Yeah. We had 3 around us actually. Has
that happened?
I mean, there was the big crowd was the bank holiday meeting against Kings Lynn.
Right,
that was a good crowd. Although, of course, there was the Cradley match afterwards, so maybe Cradley fans swelled the numbers a little bit. But
we don't do very well with bank holidays, do we? I think I'm right in saying that.
It was glorious on the night as well.
It was, yeah. All the bank holiday meetings we've had. I think we've only actually run one. It might be 2.
Yeah.
Since 2007. It just says it all, doesn't it?
Just avoid bank holidays.
Just don't do them.
Yeah. You got to feel sorry for them because they did promote it heavily.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, so.
Oh, crikey! Yeah, they promoted it like hell, didn't they?
They did. Fair comment. So, okay, one of the things that we like to say is that you guys out there, we want to hear what you want to talk about, what your comments are, about all manner of things.
Yeah.
So, because we don't want to just keep it to just Birmingham and Wolves.
We're going to try and broaden our horizons, aren't we?
So, you've got any comments here. So, talking of which, broadening our horizons, we should talk about the GP.
We'll even talk to Cradley fans.
Yeah, yeah.
I've just realised what I said there. So.
So the GP. You see, it's not working that well because I had loads and loads of links prepared.
Oh, no. Well, if I suppose I could get them up, but I can't be bothered.
It would be nice if you could. Well, yeah. What did you think? Good GP.
I've only seen bits. Well, I've only seen bits of it because I haven't got BT. But it was a very wet night in Slovenia, and the track probably wasn't the best. There was one or two good races, but A bit of a surprise, Martin Vashalik winning it. Although he's a good rider, there's no doubt about that. Ty Wolfenden, obviously, I think, threw away a semi-final spot. To be fair, he was looked quite comfortable.
Yeah,
but obviously
falling
he
foul
towards
of
the end.
The new rules.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A few riders did that though, didn't they? To be fair, my tip for the title obviously
he looked
didn't have.
nervous at the gate. Ty Wolfenden looked nervous.
There's something about Ty at the moment. I'm not sure what I can put my finger on, but he doesn't seem really at it. Now, admittedly, he hasn't had that much race time this season, but I mean, even last season, whether it was because he was pretty much out of the running for the championship, he just looked like he'd sort of lost a little bit of interest. I don't know, but it's just something that seems to be
quite
on it.
Behind the 8 ball.
He's gone off the ball a little bit, I think, to be honest. Yeah. I tipped Bartos Moslik to win the championship. He didn't have a very good night at all.
No, he didn't. It's only one.
Yeah.
I thought you'd be all over the current leader.
That's right. Yeah, you were well, didn't he? Yeah. From the bits I've seen of it, Freddie. Although he's riding well for Wolves as well. To be fair, he's only been beaten twice.
Riding
in the league this season. It was in the same meet again by the same rider. That's Kim Nielsen, the only man to beat him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously we had the Elite Shield against Paul. He was beaten in that one, but he's going well and
riding the new engine, isn't he?
Riding the new engine, and of course he's got a few riders. I think are looking at riding that, but he's obviously had a year on them already, so he knows what to expect. So yeah, but it's going well for Freddie at the moment. He's really looking like he's sort of getting back to the form that we saw 5 or 6 years ago.
Stop smiling, it's not nice.
Well, you're not the first one to say that. But I tend to think with Freddie, if he's going to make a sort of tilt at a world title, he's going to have to do it pretty quickly, I think, because with the riders that are starting to come through the ranks now, it's going to get harder and harder to push for a championship. I wasn't particularly surprised to see Nicky Pedersen struggling, because I've already said I thought it was maybe a mistake to give him a pick, because I think his time at that level, at the very top level now, is probably...
doesn't look it at all.
I don't think he's got the fear factor now with a lot of... I think psychologically a lot of riders who've raced against him over the years have been beaten by him before they started.
I think... and there's a lot of new, younger riders in there now that
I don't think we'll fear him, so because they'll just.
And I also wonder whether that Greg Hancock incident, you obviously know what I'm talking about, has played a part in people not fearing him quite so much.
Well, there's only really Greg that he's sort of got that sort of whether you could say nasty relationship with. Is really. I know he's had clashes with many riders over the years, but
Ty Wolfenden, of course.
I think it shows really that maybe Hancock's got into his head a little bit. And unfortunately, when I've said this before, I don't think Greg Hancock was sufficiently dealt with in that instance. I think he was sort of brushed under
I would sort of approach that from a different angle. If it had been somebody else that had done it. Well, that would have been more severely dealt with. Well,
I mean, any other sport, if you assaulted another competitor, then you'd be punished. You'd be very severely punished as well.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's similar to years ago when Craig Boyce punched Thomas Golub at Hackney. I suppose at the time everybody thought it was funny and thought it was what he deserved, and it was only really afterwards when people think, should he really have done something like that?
Yeah. Well, you see, I think that. I mean, that sort of incident. I mean, you'll back me up on this, Chris. You probably know yourself. That sort of incident used to go on almost on a match-by-match basis. And I think Speedway is missing something.
It's too sanitised, I think, now, isn't it, really? So
I think so. Was it? I think it was you that told the story of a promoter saying, if you're going to fight, do it where everybody can see you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because it puts bums on seats. But, yeah, so...
But I think with Nicky again, as I say, I don't think he's got the sort of fear factor now and over a lot of riders anymore. Unfortunately, I mean, he's the sort of rider in his prime just bullied people, but now with the riders coming through, they're bullying him back. They're not having any fear of doing that. So,
and Greg Hancock continues to surprise. He still looks there or thereabouts.
He wasn't top. He wasn't on top form, but he was certainly showed enough to suggest that he's not quite finished at this level just yet. And you never rule him out. We've ruled him out before, and
I'm never going to rule him out now. Is he 46 now?
Yeah.
Is he? So there's a GP this weekend in Slovenia. Warsaw. Okay. That was Slovenia last time, wasn't it?
That's Warsaw in Poland, by the way, not Warsaw down the road.
Pick a winner.
Nicer, actually.
I'm going to try and see if I can get to watch this one, because I mean this Grand Prix last season was one of the best ones of the season. I mean, it was a terrific series in terms of entertainment last season.
Ty Woffington had a good meeting.
Yeah, it was after the shenanigans of the year before, when it was abandoned halfway through, when they couldn't get the track right. Last season it was tremendous, and it's a fantastic stadium as well. So, I mean, the Poles are all going to have fantastic support there. It's a difficult, again, I think with a lot of these Grand Prix it's going to be difficult to pick a winner. I mean, nobody would have picked Martin Vasilek to win the first one. So
no, well, we didn't. So what do we know?
Yeah, so I'll go. Who will I go for? God, it's so
I don't know.
It is so difficult. It is difficult to pick, and it's as I say, it's probably the most open series there's been since.
Why don't you go with Schmarschlick again? Because then
he probably won't want me to do that with that, will he, sir? I'll go for Emil Enough. I thought again he rode well in the first round. Probably should have done better probably should have got a better result than he did, to be honest. But
I'm going to go back to Schmarschlick, and you know what we've done, don't you? We've totally turned round from the last time, because the last time I picked Emil Enough.
Yeah.
But anyway, so before we go,
I was just going to say, I've just updated them all. So there you go.
Ipswich 36, Scunthorpe 37.
36-17, sorry.
17, I beg your pardon. Ryan Douglas has withdrawn, so he's had an exclusion and withdrawn, so I hope he's okay. Sheffield Tigers 36. Red Car Bears 24. Tom Bacon scored some points. I think that might be the first points he's scored this year at that level, so that's good to see.
Yeah.
And
of course, we already know the
Isle of Wight 49, Lakeside Hammers 41. That's close. Old meeting was as we know was the result there. And well done, Liam Carr. We've got a good one. Right. Well, we will see you again next week when we'll be talking about Birmingham versus Buxton and Wolves versus Leicester, or Leicester versus Wolves.
Yep.
And anything else that you want to talk about. Hopefully we have another interview for you, which we've already lined up, hopefully. So, well, look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.
See you soon. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.